Welcome back to Talkin Shop with ShopSabre. In this podcast, we like to tackle the CNC industry specifically and really talk a little bit about business in general. Hopefully you'll find some entertainment throughout it and hopefully some education. But the next episode starts right now. Welcome back to Talkin Shop. We are on episode 157. I am your host, Brandon Bombardo. I'm here with Nick Peters.
How's it going today, boss?
Hey, not too bad, man. Appreciate everybody joining us. As always, like I said, try to keep it fun, entertaining. Try to teach you a little bit about CNC and business in general. Just start thinking that way. And this week we're going to talk a little bit about current events. Jump into the basic topic that we have of the week is going to be about the Sliver. Excuse me, why do I say silver? Sliver of time. I don't know what I was thinking there, but sliver of time is what we're going to talk about today. And then we're going to get into one of my favorites. The internet is broken. I know this one's got you hot today. Looking forward to it. And then we got customer questions and comments, which is submitted by you, the listeners. And then we have motivational quote of the week, followed by our question for you, the listeners, and the audience question. And then we'll throw it back at final thoughts and close it out. And with that, we're going to jump right in. It's raining like crazy here.
It doesn't seem like it's ever going to stop.
It's never going to stop. Hey, you know what we forgot to do? What? I forgot to hit the button. Current events. Now we can talk about current events. Sorry.
And you know what's even greater with all this rain that's happening?
What?
Is that it sounds like we're going to get some severe storms on Friday night. And
we get severe storms every day. It's not severe anymore when it happens every day.
I know, but there's a caveat to this one.
Oh, okay.
I'm sleeping in a freaking tent Friday and Saturday night.
You'll be fine.
In the woods, in the middle of nowhere, probably with no cell phone service, with trees that are probably 100 years old, that are 80 feet tall, that are probably going to blow over in the wind, and I'm going to get crushed by a tree in a tent.
Well, I hope that doesn't happen. Where are you going on Friday?
Cannon Falls.
Oh. Are you off Friday?
No, it's like Friday night.
Oh.
Brianna's already off Thursday and Friday. So
I knew somebody was off Friday.
Yeah. Outside of that,
so it's supposed to rain and storm again on Friday night.
Tomorrow's supposed to be decent, like windy and 70, no rain.
Sweet.
Then Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
It just rains.
Yeah.
That's all it does. Just rain.
We went from a winter with no snow and a drought to now like everything is flooded.
Yeah, I kind of knew it was going to happen though.
It always evens out, right?
That's why I knew it was going to happen. Just terrible. So you get to go golfing. Are you going golfing, you said, down in Cannon Falls, or just camping?
No, we're just camping. It's a camp out for Drew's Boy Scouts.
Boy Scout camp out?
I was voluntold to do.
Voluntold. That's my favorite. It's cool. You got to be looking forward to it, though. He's probably excited.
No, honestly, I'm really just hoping that Saturday's nice, so all the cool stuff they get to do can actually be done and not have to
go fishing.
Yeah, and they got a bunch of shooting sports and
that's cool.
Stuff in the lake. And a whole bunch of stuff. I don't know.
That's sweet. Sounds like a good time.
I was just told to embrace it and have fun, and if it rains, it rains. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
Hopefully Drew doesn't shoot you with an arrow.
Might be better than getting a tree falling on me.
Hey, Dad, sorry I hit you with the arrow. Oh, man. That's cool, though. Yeah, no, it's, like I said, it rains and storms every day here now, so I don't take it, too serious anymore.
How'd you finish racing this weekend?
I hate you. I hate you so much right now.
I just have I
hate everything.
I have a very high interest in your activities outside of work.
No, you don't. You're lying. You're lying right now. For the audience's awareness, he's asking because I drove to Brainerd this weekend, which is about a 3-hour drive from where I'm at, and was going to go racing. And I knew better. I loaded my race car in the rain because it was raining. Weird.
But was it actually raining up there, or was it just too wet?
No, it was raining up there.
Was it still raining?
Yeah, it was still raining there. So I loaded all my stuff in the rain, called up there. They told me everything was good. Everybody said everything was golden. We're going to be fine. The rain's missed us.
Oh, boy.
I drove 3 hours up there.
Famous last word.
Right. And 3 hours later, it was raining there still when I got there. So,
man.
Fairly convinced somebody lied to me. And so I sat there for 45 minutes in the rain and then realized this is never going to stop. And I just got back in my truck and drove home. I didn't wait till they canceled, and me and the family just drove back. So my kid jokes, Caden keeps joking around about how we drove 6 hours to go to Perkins. Because we ended up stopping at Perkins on the way back.
Kids.
Oh my God, he just rips me apart about it. It's so funny. But they were troopers. I mean, for my kids sitting in the truck for almost 6 hours, continuously, because normally you drive up there and then you get a whole night to hang out and then you drive back. So it breaks that drive up.
You could have drove the family to Chicago and had a nice dinner at someplace on the lake.
We really could have almost. Yeah. One way.
All kidding aside.
It was ridiculous. So, yes, I didn't get to race. I drove 6 hours. I got to practice pulling a trailer.
It's always good. Right?
And we went to Perkins.
Pulling it through the rain and thunderstorms.
Yeah,
I guess it's good practice.
It was stupid.
I actually thought you might have a chance when you got that far north. I didn't think it was.
Dude,
gonna be super
the radar
rain.
showed nothing. That's the only reason. Like, I'm smart enough to pull the radar up.
Yeah.
And I pulled the radar, and it definitely showed nothing on the radar that far up. But apparently, mist doesn't show up on the radar.
And you didn't have a hovercraft on your race car, right?
Yeah, no
So that wouldn't
hovercrafts.
work.
Yeah, no hovercrafts. So we drove home, and that's how my Saturday went.
Well,
So, yeah.
that's unfortunate, but better luck next weekend.
I'm not even going to try.
Doesn't
The rain looks terrible this weekend. I'm not even going to
I
try.
meant like the week after this one.
Yeah, I'm going to wait till the next one. That's solid.
At some point, we're going to have some dry days.
I don't believe it. I think that's called winter.
Well,
We'll see.
I'd rather have rain every day than snow every day.
Well, there is that. I'd rather have rain than snow. I don't want to shovel. Although my wife buried the lawnmower in our backyard last Sunday
Oh boy!
because of all the rain on Saturday. She
Thought
decided
you said she was kicked off that thing.
she was the last time she broke it, and then I went to hockey for my kids' hockey this weekend, and she decided to mow the yard.
Did you have to use your truck to pull it out?
No, she called my friend, and he came and pulled it out, so it was pulled out before I got home.
Did she try to like spray paint the mud green so you didn't notice it?
She did wash it. She washed the whole lawnmower. And she's like, I had to get all the mud off of it. It was,
That's awesome.
It wasn't my weekend. Let's put it that way.
Well,
I have a giant hole in the middle of my
safe
yard
to
now.
say you were happy to be back to work on Monday.
Happy to be back to work on Monday. Yep. So, anyways, let's jump into it though. The sliver of time is worth our discussion today because I've had sliver of time between everything that happened this weekend. But
I feel like I haven't seen you for like 2 weeks.
dude, it's been crazy. I've been so busy. I worked 15 hours last night or yesterday.
It's fun.
So that was fun. But yeah, I mean, I always joke about how there's 24 hours in a day and I'll use every one of them. And I'm not kidding. Like when the business needs it, the business needs it. And I've just been super slammed and busy. We got a lot of cool things coming down the pipeline and obviously getting ready for IWF coming up and then PRI at the end of the year. Like we just have a lot of things moving. And then, you know, obviously with ShopSabre and Langmuir and everything we're working on, we're just, like I said, a lot of things to keep you busy. And it seems like right about now I'm running out of time.
and you say end of the year and people probably think you're crazy, but we're already halfway through 2024.
Well, that's exactly
like
it. Like if you don't think about it now, like it's going to catch up to you. And that's why like I'm working on stuff that's going to happen in August, you know, what one show's in August and one's in December. But if I don't, you know, like the August show, you basically have weeks left till you got to start shipping stuff there. Right. And if I don't get on it now with PRI, like that show will be on top of me and I won't even realize what's happening. So
the fun never stops, as they like to say.
No, I enjoy it. Like I said, it keeps me busy. I'd rather be too busy than not busy at all.
Absolutely.
So. But yeah, I think it kind of leads right into, you know, talk about making the right choices at the right time. You know, it can be a big difference maker in business, and I think a lot of people they take time for granted, right?
Yeah.
And there's a sliver of time that you have to capitalize on opportunity, and there's a lot of business owners out there I think that can probably relate to this, that they realize they've made decisions in their business, right or wrong, that have affected the future of the business.
Yep.
And it's about making either the right decision or the wrong decision, you know, at times that will affect the course of really where you're going to head. And, you know, for me, I always talk about investing in growth and investing in your future in the development, but it's finding the time to be able to do those type of things in your business. As I've just said, 15 hours yesterday into things, it's like it's hard to stack more on yesterday.
Yep.
So it just overflows into today, and here we are, you know.
Well, I think going back to you saying making the right or the wrong choice, hopefully you allow yourself enough time that if you make the wrong choice, that you can recover from that and turn it into making the right choice later on, right? And not waiting until the last minute. Because if you make the wrong choice at the last minute, you're going to be in a little bit of trouble.
Right.
You won't have time to correct that.
Right. Yeah. And that's, I mean, there's a lot to be said. Like CNC machines in general, like it's the future. I mean, it's the future of automation. It's the future of shops. You know, the story I've really been telling a lot lately is like reminding people about the efficiencies that CNC brings to you. Like when we look at that kitchen that we built here at ShopSabre, we did the video with Sean. I mean, that's Sean Morley doing that one kitchen himself, right? Yep. Single guy, with 2 machines. He used the Sahisa Edge Bander and the ShopSabre IS machine. And he produced a whole entire kitchen, uppers, lowers, countertop, the drawers, everything. And really the cut time was less than a day.
Right. And then he just assembled it all by himself. And the craziest thing to me was watching him use the edge bander and put the edges on all of his cuts while the machine was cutting out the next section of parts he was going to have to use on the edge bander.
Yeah, and that's the efficiency side of things and developing that future growth, right? Do you need it? Do you have the demand for it right now? Maybe not, right? Maybe your business doesn't have an immediate demand for it and you're not super backed up, but it's building that work method, right?
Yep.
So you have that flow in your shop that goes through this process. So when you go after the business and you start adding on more, you're efficient.
Well, when you say that, it makes me think of a question, I guess, to those people is, you don't think you're busy enough for a CNC machine right now, but is that because you're limiting yourself because you don't want to get overwhelmed or don't want to get too far behind?
Right.
Is that why
it's
people
self-throttling,
think that,
right? Yeah, self-throttling. Because you're like, I know I can't take on that job, so I'm not going to extend myself out there, or I'm not going to go look for more work, right? Because you're staying busy enough to be in your shop all day long.
Yep.
So you don't have the time to really get out and go beat the streets, if you will, right? You don't have time to go knock doors and talk to people and make the relationships with these builders and these, there's still a lot of people building. There's still a lot of people. I mean, I see it every day. There's a lot of money being spent still out there. And it's like the shops who say they're not busy enough, it just makes me wonder, like, why?
Right.
Like, why aren't you busier? Because, like I said, talk to Sean. He's got 7 months worth of backlog right now. 7 months.
Which means if you take all that work and, if there's guys around him that say they're not busy and don't have work, there's a reason why, right?
Right.
Like if he has 7 months worth of work to do, then there's obviously plenty of work to do for everybody.
Right. There's a lot of work out there. And that's the thing. And, you think about that, like Sean said, that's 7 months worth of work, and that's not taking every job that comes across his plate right now.
Right.
Because he's got 7 months worth of backlog,
So they're all going to somebody.
Like, that's exactly it.
Because the work's got to get done.
The work's not just not getting done. So, and that's what I try to remind people is that, like, it's easy to say you don't need one, whatever. But unless you're shutting your doors, CNC automation is the future.
Correct.
It's where we're going. And I always remind, the older shops, they seem to fight the technology the most because it's just, they're so comfortable with the sliding saw and all that. But it's like the younger shops, it's where business is going. I mean, at the end of the day, like, kids are they're more comfortable with a computer than they are a skill saw.
Absolutely.
So as these younger generations move through the workforce, you're just going to see more and more shops adopting the CNC automation. And really the shops without it are going to be the ones, run out of town, if you will, right? I mean, they're going to have a hard time competing on price when, they're taking a week to do something that other shops are doing in a day.
Right. And I think to your point about, that type of business going to the younger crowd, we're seeing how many schools do we have getting our machines every month? I mean, it's the kids are learning this stuff now so they can come out of high school ready to go work for that cabinet maker and start
early
making
adoption.
money right away. You're right out of high school, you know what to do. You can go help the guy that's maybe getting close to ready to retire. Maybe your dad or your grandfather, somebody is getting ready to retire from their business, and you can take it over and bring in automation and make it to be twice what it is now, size-wise, just because right away coming out how to use that technology and can advance it forward.
Well, you think about, like, I just go back to when I was in school, like computers. Like, we all had remember those Apple, like, color computers? You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, like the green screen playing Oregon Trail.
Yeah. But I'm talking about the colored, remember, like, the Apple computer that was, like, they were big cubes or whatever?
Yeah.
And they all came in different colors, right?
Yep.
Pink, blue, red. Yeah. So I remember, like, computer labs full of that at school. I don't even know if computer labs still exist at school or not. But I remember that. And, like, we were learning how to use the computer in school.
Yep.
And, like, I was fortunate enough. My dad knew how to do computers because he owned a computer business. He was one of, like, the first people into computers. So aside from my dad, but my dad's generation, like, a lot of them didn't know how to use a computer.
Right.
And so I remember, like, our neighbors would call my dad and mom and be like, hey, can Brandon come over and, like, show me how to do this on the computer? And, like, literally I would go over and teach them how to do stuff. Like, I remember that, like, going to my neighbors' houses several times and showing them how to use programs on their computers. But I think about that and I'm like, back then, again, computers were a silly fad, right? I mean, they weren't going to take on. But, like, my generation and your generation, like, we learned computers from the inception.
Right.
And so now, like, fast forward, nobody does anything without a computer nowadays.
I mean, my daughter's in 5th grade and she brings them home every day to do her schoolwork on.
Yeah.
Like, they don't really even have books anymore.
And that's my point. Like, so you think about that. that isn't a view into the future of the automation world, right? Like nowadays, kids are in school playing with CNC machines, whether it be, 3D printers, whether it be lasers, routers, plasma, whatever. But they're playing with this equipment. And so let's fast forward in 10 more years. Where is it all going to be?
I mean,
everywhere.
Yeah, there's going to be no place without it.
Right. It's going to be in every shop. And so like that's my point is like as you think about it as a business, if you're one of those businesses that haven't adopted that technology yet, like it goes back to that silver. God, I keep saying silver. Sliver of time. When you start thinking of the sliver of time, I don't know why, but I keep wanting to say silver lining, but it's not. It's sliver of time.
Right.
But that sliver of time is like adoption, right? Be the company that's willing to go after it. And right now is that sliver of time where you still can go out there and be aggressive with it.
For sure.
Like you can be one of the companies out there that really makes a big difference. But when everybody else has it, you're just going to be trying to keep up at that point.
Right.
Right now, you can still be pushing the boundaries of the company that can go after this work and take it all on. Like, so to me, like you're in a time where it's like right now this year, we're halfway through the year already. There's no reason to be waiting anymore. Like you have to get moving. If you're still waiting on projects that last year you were like, oh, you know what? I'm going to get to it. I'll do it next year. Like you're halfway through this year. If you haven't done it yet, are you really going to do it this year?
No, because you're going to kick the can down.
You're going to kick it down to next year.
Again.
Yeah, you're going to be like 2025, 2026. Like
we might need it then.
Yeah, like
now you're 4 years behind the guy down the road, buddy. So you got a lot of catching up to do.
It's time to invest in yourself for future growth, right?
Correct.
So that's a quick little rundown on that. But my favorite section is coming up. I don't know. Just to me, there's just so much about this next section that just means the world to me. The internet, well, it's broken.
Hey, that's a new one too. That's even better.
You like that one?
I like that. That's really good.
You have to talk about the internet because you're Belinda Peters.
I am.
Yep. So you own a weather page.
I do.
That people follow.
Yep.
And by you being the weatherman, it's always your fault.
Yep. And they always think that I have very specific answers to their address.
Well, you have all the tools. Don't you know that?
Oh, my goodness.
I thought you knew that. It's like Google, but for weather. You just type their address in, and then you can tell it what it's going to do there.
Yeah. I mean, it's been asked 20 times in the last 2 days if somebody's town was going to get hit with a tornado or hail. It's like, can you imagine, like, if I could pinpoint it down to like somebody's yard or their street, I'd be a bazillionaire.
A bazillionaire. I mean, that's a lot of money.
Could, we could do like if I knew it was going to hit.
How many zeros are on a bazillion?
106.
Fair enough. Okay.
1 million to the 9th power. Is that what it is? I'm trying to remember math skills from back in 8th grade. But it would be, like in the Simpsons movie when they bring in the big glass dome to like protect the city. You've probably seen the movie.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
So like if I knew, hey, a tornado's going to hit 4th Avenue Southeast in Rogers, Minnesota tonight at 6 o'clock, we could just move the dome to Rogers.
For the record, that's not formal information if you're listening.
Yeah, you're right. It's not.
It's not going to hit that area necessarily.
And I'm going to make sure that everybody on that page listens to this podcast tomorrow and understands what we're talking about. I'm just like, it's just so silly. Like, can you imagine something that's totally just, I mean, Mother Nature's Mother Nature. Weather is weather. It just does its own thing, right? Can you imagine like just thinking that, hey, I'm going to just ask this guy if he knows if
I think you're an idiot.
Hail the size of a baseball is going to hit my house tomorrow. Well, I mean,
you should know this. This is on you. I'm with the viewers.
I mean, that's fair. My answer now is just maybe not. It could or it could not.
It
Either
might.
will or it won't. It might, but it might not.
It could. You don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I like to give you a hard time because I just love watching your blood pressure just rise when we talk about the subject. But I 100% agree with you.
It wasn't a sunburn today.
Yeah, it wasn't a sunburn. His face is red because he's angry. But I 100% agree with you. And it goes back to the internet being broken. Like, I don't really care about honestly, I don't know why, but the question doesn't bug me. It bugs you. But when somebody's like, is it going to hit my neighborhood? Fair question. You want to know, is your neighborhood safe? Okay, I'm fine with that. But where I find the humor in the internet being broken is when they ridicule you because you can't give them a straight answer on it. That's my favorite. Like, they straight up insult you and then they tell you they're going to unfollow your page. That's my favorite.
Don't let the door hit you.
Yeah, they're mad at you because you couldn't tell them if hail was going to hit their neighborhood or not.
And it's like, you put out a forecast and try to tell people what's going to happen, and then they think it's like for their specific yard. It's like, no, this covers like a whole really broad area.
You know what I learned the other day?
It's that it rains in Brainerd even when it's not on the radar.
Well, that too. Gotta hate you. I'm back with your fans. I agree with your fans of why you're terrible. No, what I learned the other day, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but on the TV, when it says 30% chance of rain, that doesn't mean there's a 70% chance of sun. It means there's a 30% of that area could receive rain.
Correct.
What?
Yes.
Like, why does nobody teach us this? So when it says...
So then you can go on Minnesota Weather Facebook page and ask that question, and then I can tell you you're down. No, I wouldn't.
So when
tell you
it
that.
says... Yeah, you would. You would say that to me.
That's not a dumb question, though.
But for real, though, it's... So 50% chance of rain. I always thought it was like a weatherman being like, might rain, might not.
No.
Don't know.
Well, I think...
But it's actually like more scientific down to the 50% of the generalized area will see some sort of precipitation that day.
I think it's even more so like 50% of the time that the same weather could move through, it's going to happen. It's kind of the same thing. 50% of the area might see it, but also at the same time, like 50% of the time it might happen, 50% it won't. Or 70% it will, 70% it won't. It's kind of like the same thing.
That's 130%. That literally doesn't check out. I said 50. It can't have 70 then.
You're right. I'm just
That's
saying.
120.
Like, I'm just
Where
saying
did my math go? You should have
days,
made fun of me. That was 120, not 130.
Like Thursday. I think Thursday there's like a 90% chance of rain.
Okay, so 90% of the area is going to see some sort of rain on Thursday.
Correct. And 90% of the time, when the same conditions arise, it'll storm. But 10% of the time it won't. It's kind of a little bit of both from the way I understand it.
But you're the weather guy. You're supposed to not understand. You're supposed to know the answer.
Okay, well,
Come on,
now
Belinda.
I'm gonna have to go do some research.
Yeah,
and actually find the answer.
We need to get the format. But I was pretty sure. Like I was watching a video from a weather guy, and he explained this. And he's like, it's not what you guys think.
He put his own silver lining on it.
Maybe. That's what I'm saying. I don't know. But like the reason is because it goes back to the internet being broken. He had taken a comment that somebody had put on their page. And you know how they can highlight it in the video? He had it highlighted. And the question was, or the comment was something along the lines of like, why say 50%? Why don't you just say you don't know? And he had, which I think is a funny comment for the record. But he had to explain that, no, 50% means 50% of the area is going to see some sort of precipitation on that given day.
Correct.
And that's crazy.
Or like they'll put out something for like, today there's a 15% chance of damaging hail, which means there's going to be a few spots that probably see that. But
well, there it is.
That's another story for another day.
So the internet is broken. We've confirmed this at this point.
I do my best to give you the best information I can. If you don't like it, sorry.
Bye.
If you do like it, thanks for following. If you want to be a jerk, be a jerk.
Don't be a jerk.
I'll be a jerk.
There's no reason to be a jerk.
No, but people just do it.
Internet is broken for that reason. Don't be a jerk.
Fix the internet. Let's fix the internet and not have jerks.
Fixing it. Moving on. Customer comments and questions. Tangential knife. Do you guys know what a tangential knife is?
I've heard a lot about it lately.
Yeah, that's why I'm bringing it up. Tangential knife. It's a knife that can turn, and it's got a motor attached to it and has the ability to follow a line rather than just dragging along, but actually is a calculated movement. And it's a tangential oscillating knife in our case, so it has the ability to turn oscillation on and off for thicker materials. But we had somebody ask, can it be added to a machine in the field? And the answer is yes. Certain models, and I say that with a little asterisk next to it, so if you could see me, I'm making an asterisk sound right now. See
He's actually making like an X, but close enough.
Like an asterisk, right? So it can be added to certain machines with certain features. Like there are certain situations where you have certain options on your machine that it's not compatible with. So I won't say every machine can have it, and certain models do not have this feature. You know, some of your more entry-level models or smaller models don't have enough room on the gantries to be able to put this device. So there are some caveats and some limitations to being able to add it, but the answer is yes. Just because you didn't buy it at the time of your purchase of your machine does not mean you cannot add it. We just need to talk our way through it and find out if your machine configuration is compatible.
And to make sure that you have enough room for that option, right? 'Cause
right.
certain machines have too many options, you can't add it.
Correct, exactly.
If my understanding is correct from...
Yeah, if your tool plate's full, if you have too many features on the machine already, there are some limitations there as well. So, yeah, that's just the answer to that question. So because tangential knife has been coming up a lot lately, specifically we see it a lot in the EVA and marine industry as of late. The C deck is a common material people know, and yeah, the knife option's really popular with that, but also very popular in the sign industry. We're seeing a lot more of it with the print materials, right? Vinyls, Coroplast, I believe what it's called, Coroplast. yeah, there's just a lot of, corrugated cardboard, things like that. So
It's kind of a new and expanding industry, right?
it is.
As far as for CNC machinery.
Yeah.
Obviously, they've been doing it.
Yeah, the EVA
Probably
stuff is
by
really
hand
getting
lot,
out of control lately. So yeah, I know there's a lot that we've been doing with it. So yeah, as that question comes up, that's the answer to your question. So, this one could almost fit in the internet's broken, but I'm just gonna talk about it. There was a comment that was made on one of our ads. We run ads on, Facebook and social media once in a while, and somebody commented, "Unlock your potential with a machine that does it all for you." Okay. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, it kind of makes sense though. Like, yes, we're selling you a machine that allows you to use your potential, right? Like your potential can be more than just sitting at a sliding saw cutting stuff, right?
Yep.
Like you might be a very talented designer. You might be a very talented salesperson. You might be very talented at, innovation. But you're so tied up in the shop doing regular everyday stuff, right? That you can't do that. So the statement is unlocking your potential in terms of your potential is every person's potential is different. What potential I'm referring to can vary. Your potential could be on how big you grow your business. It can be on the product you can develop. It can be on your sales. It can be on your ability to take care of the customer. There's so many things for potential that, yeah, we're helping you unlock it by using CNC automation and really empowering the shops to do more.
I think the overall answer is the machine just unlocks your potential to be better overall as a business.
Right. It's not like saying like
it's going to improve your lead times. It's going to improve your cut quality.
Right. It's going to do all of that.
I mean, it's going to make everything better.
Right. Yeah.
Regardless of
and that's what I was trying to figure out the best way to put it. It's not saying like when people say potential, like it's just the potential for future growth, for future opportunity. That's the potential. Like,
right.
So unlock your potential with a machine that does it all for you. Yeah, I agree. You should. Like, let the machine do a lot of the heavy lifting so you can focus on other things.
Right.
So there you go. Myth busted. I don't know what you'd say. That just seemed like, oh, I forgot to use the voice changer this week for
that might be
the numbers.
That might be a good segment to add too.
What, Mythbusters?
Breaking myths of CNC.
Mythbusters. Yeah, we could do that. Last question was, what do you do with a water table once you see a growth or a bacteria in it? That's an interesting question because it actually came up. We were working with Tay Whiteside, actually. Tay Whiteside, you guys all might know him, Lift Arc Studios. Awesome dude. So shout out to Tay if you're listening. But we're going to talk about it because Tay and I were talking one day, and we were kind of joking around about, he had been he'd been using his plasma table, and he noticed one day that there was some bacteria growing in it. And he's like, he immediately ran over and grabbed some bleach and poured the bleach into his table. Because I think naturally humans, as like we see bacteria, we kill it with bleach, right? The problem with that is do not do that, because the bleach also kills all the antimicrobials inside the solution that's in the water, and effectively makes it so you have green water now. Like, it doesn't have any of the fun stuff that's supposed to help. The best thing to do is, if you see growth, is agitate the water. Generally, it means the water has been sitting too long. Generally, the growth isn't to the level of having to bleach it. But if it is to that level where there's that much in it, then yeah, just replace the water.
Interesting. I guess I was kind of surprised to even realize or know that stuff can grow in that stuff.
It generally is rare. I mean, even like Tay and I were joking about it. He's like, I've had my table for how long? This is the first time I've ever seen it, So I would generally say that there's usually a breakdown in something, so whether it be the solution that you're using, whatever, the plasma defense or quench guard or whatever you use, Sterling Cool, whatever. But when you use any of these solutions, like they have a shelf life.
Sure.
They don't last forever. So eventually you have to clean the tables out and do things. So like, yeah, if you hit the end of the shelf life on it, there's absolutely an opportunity for stuff to happen there. And of course, there's a mixture ratio too. If you run out of mixture and you don't mix it to the right concentration, like that can cause problems too. So there's reasons it happens, but it's few and far. Like I said, Tay's had his table for how many years, and he's never run into this until just recently. So it does happen occasionally. But again, it's all about maintenance on the table. So don't pour bleach into it though.
Do not use bleach.
Do not use bleach. So thank you, Tay, for bringing that question up, because I think it was a good topic for us to chat a little bit about. Did I miss any other questions? Do you have any other ones?
Not off the top of my head.
Okay.
No.
Well, then moving on. Motivational quote of the week. For the next 30 days, think, talk, act, walk, and smell success. If you feel business is booming, it will.
Wonderful.
So basically, it's all about mindset, right? We've talked about this in the past. It's about attitude. It's about the sliver of time that you have, right? It's making sure that you're going after all the business you possibly can and having that mental attitude of you're going to persevere, right?
Yeah, that was the first thing I thought of when you were reading it and I was following along. It's like everything, right? Your attitude and mentality towards certain things is what it's going to
give it 30 days.
Yeah.
Like I tell everybody that, like, you know, I've managed a lot of sales guys in my life, and, you know, I've managed a lot of employees in my life. And you know, one thing, sometimes employees have a bad day, right? Or people have a bad day. Hockey players have a bad day. Adults have a bad day, right?
Race car drivers have a bad day.
Race car drivers have bad days. But my point being is you can't let all of these like consume you. You have to find a way to step back and clear your mind for 30 days. Like truly for 30 days. And I want people listening to this right now. Think about it. If you've had a bad, some bad luck lately, or maybe you're feeling a little down on yourself. It's easy to get down on yourself. I want you to clear everything right now. And for the next 30 days, I want you to think, talk, act, walk, and smell success. And what I mean by that is wake up in the morning and read a motivational quote every morning for 30 days. Work out for 30 days. Do something different for 30 days than you have done the last 30 days. For the next 30 days, do something different in your life, whatever it is. Maybe it's you make 10 sales calls a day for 30 days, right?
Yeah.
Something maybe you haven't been doing. Or maybe for 30 days, you're going to get up and you're going to, work on something in your business, an efficiency thing. Every day, you're going to do one more thing efficient for your business for 30 days, right? Whatever it is, like find a way to think, talk, act, walk, and smell success. Find it. And that doesn't mean you have to have these gaping project, hey, I've got to overhaul my whole company. No, I'm saying as simple as clean one area of your shop every day for 30 days. Will your shop be cleaner at the end of 30 days? Absolutely.
100%. And I
find a way to be successful for 30 days.
And I think eventually you'll find yourself having less of those negative moments or moments that you think are bad for your business just because you're now more focusing on the positives and thinking about success more than you're thinking about the failures.
Right. And that's exactly it. I think it goes
Mindset.
back to last week, right? Mindset reset. This is part of it. So for the next 30 days, I want to see people doing that. I want to come back in 30 days. I want to hear somebody's story of I did it for 30 days and this was my change.
Yep.
I did this a year ago. A little over a year ago now. I did a mindset reset, if you will, right? And I for 30 days, I chose to write a motivational quote every morning. And I've never quit since.
Right.
I've been doing a motivational quote every morning. A lot of my friends who follow me and are friends with me, they see me post these things. And it just is, I've started to do it, but now it's funny because the other day I woke up and I was in the middle of something with my kid. I was helping him with hockey. And so I got a late start on the day in terms of making that post. And I had a friend reach out to me by text. He's like, hey, where's the motivational post today? And I thought it was cool because he even said, he's like, I look forward to it every day.
Right, for sure.
But I just hadn't gotten around to it yet. So I posted it right then. But it's one of those things where it helps you feel more successful, think more successfully, walk more successfully when you have that mindset. So that's my motivational quote of the week for you is for the next 30 days, think, talk, act, walk, and smell success. If you feel business is booming, it will. And there we are. I think that's what I've got for you. Did I miss anything else there?
No, I like that one. That one's really good.
All right. Moving on to the next section. This week's audience question is, what would you consider the biggest hurdle when getting into business for yourself? I would love to hear from you, the audience, in the comment section, by email, however you feel necessary to communicate. What would you consider the biggest hurdle when getting into business for yourself? My answer, no, you know what? You answer first. Then I'll give you my answer.
I think it would be the equipment you're going to need for your business.
The investment?
The investment in getting the proper equipment and the correct equipment.
I disagree. Okay. My thought is the mindset. The mental aspect of it is the biggest hurdle to overcome. I think a lot of people have the ability to be very successful in things. And the reason they either fail or they never try is because mentally they beat themselves before they've ever had the opportunity.
Sure.
Like before you go buy equipment.
I guess I was more linking of it at the point where you're already past that.
And that's fine.
And you're like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no,
like,
I want everybody's opinion. Exactly. You went, let's go right into it's the investment in the equipment and getting the right stuff, which I love because you're right. Some people struggle with finding the right equipment. And, and again, that's why we have a consultative sales process here is to help people pick the right equipment when it comes to this technology. But like you said, in the camera industry, you have to pick the right camera or the software you're going to purchase or, whatever, if you're starting a business, you got to come up with, am I using QuickBooks or what am I doing for accounting, right? There's a lot of things to consider a hurdle there. For me, I always think the biggest hurdle though is mentally roadblocking yourself. Like, where do I start? What do I do? I can't do this. Like, no, you can.
You can do it.
Like, just pick something every day for 30 days that you're going to do.
There you go.
Right?
Yeah.
And in 30 days, you'll have a business.
For sure.
Invest in yourself.
Believe in yourself.
Believe. That's all I got.
You almost sang.
I was going to sing for you there, and then I gave up. I remembered that I can't sing. But yeah, that was my audience question of the week is what would you consider the biggest hurdle when getting into business for yourself? I'd love to hear from you guys. Final thoughts of the week. Nick, take it away.
Well, I just want to go back to the beginning real quick because we had a couple notes here. And you have one that says golf and then parentheses hole in one. Yeah. I was intrigued, and then we kind of got long-winded on the rain and skipped over it. Yeah. Are you talking about the dude that made a hole in one to make the cut on the last hole?
Yeah.
Dude, it's crazy. Can you, just knowing you need to do that? And I know that he knew. I know he knew because of his reaction and how it went down.
Yeah.
But to actually get out there and hit that shot, and then the announcer's reaction to it was just I don't know. It was
goes back to that
unbelievable
sliver of time.
Right.
He had a sliver of time remaining. He was all but out basically.
Right.
I mean, he was done. Everybody was like, he's not making it. And I don't know anything about golf, for the record.
Swing hard and hope you hit it straight.
Yeah, I just close my eyes and swing for the ball. But when I saw that, I was like, man, that is just awesome. Not giving up, believing in yourself enough to go, I'm going to make this shot.
Yep.
I'm going to go do it. A hole in one. People don't hit a hole in one ever in their life sometimes.
Right.
And he's like, I got to make a hole in one to make the cut.
Yep.
And he's like, I got this.
And
his swagger, he walked up there like he knew he was going to do it.
Oh, yeah.
When he walks, if you watch the whole thing, he walks up. He doesn't look nervous. He looks like, I got this. And just rips it down there, hole in one. And then, his reaction is epic.
And he guaranteed himself at least $50,000 of a payday by making the cut. I mean, a lot of people are going to be like, oh, $50,000. I mean, it's still $50,000, man. He's still making money. He's out there competing, which he was there to do.
Well, you got to remember, that's their job, though.
Absolutely.
I know to some people, it's just $50,000. But that's the difference of him making the ability to go make ends meet potentially, right? Because he might not make 50 grand for the next 3 months, right? Or whatever, So you think about that. I mean, $50,000, that's a year's salary.
And I think on top of that, being able to actually compete against all the rest of the guys for the rest of the weekend, and they're athletes. They have a competitive nature, right? You don't want to be done after 2 days and just be over. You want to finish the tournament. Easy for me to say. Finish the tournament.
Yeah.
And,
I just think about the fact that could you imagine the emotional roller coaster there? Because you got to imagine you're walking up to the hole. You're probably a little defeated feeling.
Oh, yeah.
I really failed myself this week, right? We've had, how many holes did they play at that point?
Yep.
Was it 36 holes?
They played 35, yeah.
35, yeah. Yep. So he was on 36 hole.
Yep.
Yeah, so you're 35 holes in. You're like, you know what? I'm kind of down and out. Kind of beat myself up.
And playing on a course that's kicking the living hell out of you.
Right.
It's so damn hard.
Right. And then you go and hit a hole in one. It's the emotional roller coaster of I am terrible to I'm the greatest man alive.
And then you're like, oh, wait, now I got to play this course for 2 more days.
Dude.
But still, it'll be fun.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't even know how he ended up. I don't even know where he ended up. I didn't look.
I don't either, to be honest with you.
But I was, yeah.
At that point, who cares, though? I wouldn't even care. You're free rolling. You just did something really cool and making a hole in one to,
there it is.
It's never happened before.
That's exactly what they were saying. It's never happened before.
Right.
And that is my final thought. Just because it hasn't happened doesn't mean you can't be the first.
Records are always meant to be broken.
Go do it.
Right.
Right now, that's my final thought. There's a sliver of time right now for you to go do what you think you can't do. Go do it.
For sure.
Again, for the next 30 days, do things that you haven't been doing, and let's watch this thing flourish. It's a lot of mental anxiety right now for people. I see a mixed bag of business owners out there. There's a lot of them out there that are super busy, got a lot of good things going in their business, and then there's a handful of them that are trying to drag everybody down around them because, oh my God, poor me, poor my. Get out of your way.
Yep.
Pick your bags up. Let's go get on this train because the train's moving. Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go.
What he said.
That's what I got for you. Final thoughts.
That was a good episode.
Yeah.
That's my final thought.
I like it. So
get on the fun train. The positivity train, whatever you want to call it. Let's go.
Yeah. As always, we appreciate each and every one of you listeners listening to us every week talk about things that a lot of times don't matter, but hopefully you find some humor in it and you've had some fun with us. But again, we appreciate you tuning in every week to another episode of Talking Shop. And with that, I'm Brandon.
And I'm Nick.
Thanks for talking shop with ShopSabre.